This video was made possible by Dashlane. Try Dashlane for free on your first device by heading to dashlane.com/HAI. Hello viewers of Half as Interesting, and welcome to something that will be completely worthless for those of you who are colorblind. But to make it up for you, here, I got you this gift card to Red Lobster. Enjoy! So, colors are basically the way our eyes interpret certain wavelengths of light. Generally speaking, we're only able to see light that's between 380 and 700 nanometers in wavelength, with wavelength variations determining color. For example, we interpret light with a wavelength of 500 nanometers as blue. There are also a ton of other types of light that we can't see. For example, we interpret UV light with a wavelength of 100 nanometers as skin cancer. As you go to longer wavelengths, there are infrared, microwave, radar, and radio, and as you go to short wavelengths, there are ultraviolet, X-rays, gamma rays, Ray Romano, and Ray Donovan. But this little band in here is the visible light spectrum, which you might also recognize by its nickname, Roy G. Biv, or its given name, Royland Grindelwald Biverston Jr. Now, you may be wondering, how do my eyes know which colors are which? Well, in the back of your eyes, you've got rods and cones. The rods do something, but the cones do a different thing: sense color. You've actually got three types of cones: long cones, which are stimulated by red light, medium cones, stimulated by green light, and short cones, stimulated by blue light. But as you've probably noticed, unless you're looking at the flag of Karelia or the three worst Power Rangers, you usually see more than red, green, and blue. That's because the cones can also pick up more than just their one pure color, as this graph shows. So when you see yellow, that's your long red cones picking up some stimulation, and the medium green cones picking up some, and your eyes put that together and see yellow, which is the wavelength between red and green. But now let's talk about magenta, that purplish red color that you mostly know from T-Mobile ads and the hair of manic pixie dream girls. But if you look at the light spectrum, you'll notice that magenta isn't on it. There's no wavelength for magenta, and that's because magenta doesn't actually exist. You see, magenta is what you get when your eyes see both red and blue light at the same time, stimulating your long and short cones. Normally, you'd think that when that happens, your eyes would average the wavelength and you would end up in the middle seeing green. But wait, your eyes know you aren't seeing green because your green cones aren't being stimulated. But we had to see something, so our eyes panicked and just made up magenta. That's right, magenta is just like your girlfriend who goes to another school. It's a figment of your imagination. But magenta is actually one of the least interesting pieces of color confusion out there, because even though there's no wavelength for it, we see magenta all the time. The weirder, cooler, spookier side of color theory comes via so-called impossible colors. Colors that theoretically exist, but that we can't usually see. There are four main types of impossible colors. The first is hyperbolic colors. Let's take, for example, Hyperbolic Green, which surprisingly is not a new weed brand, but instead an impossibly green color. You see, because of overlaps in what wavelengths our cones can pick up, our green cones can never be stimulated on their own. There will always be some stimulation of either red or blue cones. But if you were somehow able to just stimulate the green cones, you would see hyperbolic green, a green greener than any green that's ever greened. And there is actually a way to trick yourself into seeing hyperbolic green. Take magic I meant after images. You see, if you stare at magenta for a long time, your red and blue cones get fatigued, so when you look away, you'll see a green after image because magenta is the opposite of green. If you then looked immediately at green, the green after image will combine with the green you're looking at and you'll see hyperbolic green. Go ahead, try it. Seriously, put your face way too close to the screen, the way you're always told not to. Now, stare at the magenta. Keep staring, don't get distracted by the little clown in the corner of the screen. Okay, now look at the green. Did it look extra green? Hopefully it did, but if not, you should do what I do whenever anything goes wrong and blame my animators. Second up are Stygian colors, colors that are an impossible combination of dark and saturated. For example, Stygian blue is seen as just as dark as black, but also as blue, which is normally impossible because, the only thing that's as dark as black is, well, black. To see Stygian blue, stare at this yellow, then at black, but this time I'm gonna make you pause the video to do it because we've got ads to do. Third are self-luminous colors, which are colors that appear impossibly bright. Whatever color you stare at first, you'll see the self-luminous version of its opposite. So, if you stare at this green, then at white, you'll see self-luminous red. Or this yellow, then white, and you'll see self-luminous blue. If you stare at Luigi, then white, you'll see self-luminous Waluigi. Finally, there are impossible combination colors. According to the theory of opponent process, you cannot see any colors that, quote, could be described as a combination of two colors on opposite sides of the color wheel. Basically, that's fancy science talk for that you can see reddish yellow, which is basically orange, but you can't see reddish green. If you mix red and green light, you see yellow. If you mix red and green paint, you see brown. Except that maybe you can see reddish green if you look at this and cross your eyes to make them overlap. Did you see it? Okay, now, if you keep your eyes crossed, you should see something else impossible. A great deal on how to get Dashlane. You see, Dashlane is a mobile and desktop app that can make everything you do online a little bit easier. If you've been doing holiday shopping recently, you may have gotten extremely tired entering your credit card information and your billing address and your shipping address and your password over and over every time you want to order your mom her favorite gift, HAI merch. But Dashlane stores all of that, plus pretty much any other info you regularly have to enter online, and then autofills them with a single click. Unlike alternatives, this syncs across devices of all types, Mac, PC, iOS, or Android, and really helps you reach a high standard of digital safety thanks to their integrated VPN, breach alerts, and more. 11 million people already use Dashlane to speed up their online experience, so try Dashlane for free on your first device by heading to dashlane.com/HAI, and then when you decide to upgrade to premium, use the code HAI for a discount.